Okay, so I've been watching a lot of, MGTOW videos and black pill videos, and not to say that this philosophy hasn't it does not have its good parts, but I do detect a bit of hypocrisy, a bit of ignorance, and a brutal intent to reject what is obvious. And this statement always bothered me about the MGTOW black pill community, whatever you want to call it, which is that if you focus on yourself, if you improve upon yourself, if you focus on yourself and improve upon yourself, and if you do all the right good things concerning yourself and only yourself as a man, then that means that you will, as a man, that you will age as fine wine. Because, of course, one of their commandments is, women age like milk and men age like fine wine. And, of course, this is in stark contrast with the truth that is observable in reality. And to give you an example, you see, I've lived on a farm for a long time. The people there, the men there, they don't smoke, they don't drink, they don't eat fast food, they're not addicted to sugars or soda. They don't sit around all day, in front of a screen. They're always on the move. They're always outside in nature. They always are, working, hard labor. They're not insanely stressed, okay? So they don't have a lot of vices. They're always exercising, right? And now, because they're in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s, let me tell you, these dudes haven't aged well as fine wine, okay? And another thing that you people in the MGTOW black pill communities refuse to admit because it will crush your philosophy is that what you have to do is just look outside. Look outside your window and tell me if the bulk of the males out there have aged like fine wine, right? Just because some of them in their 20s and 30s and 40s, they look kind of good, doesn't mean that they will age like fine wine in the future. Okay? And this is because you refuse to accept, the fact that most things revolve around good genetics. Okay? Because you cannot change your genetics. I don't care how much you work out. I don't care how much you improve upon yourself. I don't care how healthy your diet is. I don't care if you think happy thoughts. I don't care if you eat and drink and breathe the best things imaginable. With age comes a lot of negative aspects, and it doesn't matter how much you work out and how much good things you do. Okay? If you do not have good genetics, you will age like fucking cheese, okay? Okay, the ravages of time, they are inevitable, and the ravages of time do not discriminate when it comes to gender. Okay? You can tell how hypocritical some of these people are in these communities. You just have to look at their videos and you see some of these dudes, and you imagine, just because they don't have a beer belly, you imagine that this guy is an alpha or an Adonis. Look at him carefully. You can see all the wrinkles, you can see all the muscles that are starting to fucking flab. It's right in your face. It has nothing to do with your workout routine. It doesn't matter how much you focus on yourself. It does not matter how much you are trying to perfect yourself. With time, everything degenerates. With time, everything falls apart. With time, everything devolves, okay? And you can prevent it for as long as you can with all of these positive things that you do, for all of these hobbies and occupations. but the ravages of time will claim everybody, just like the wall will claim every woman out there. It is unavoidable. So the wall will claim women faster, but it will catch up to men, sometime. Okay? It is what it is. And listen, I don't mind, like I said, some of your ideologies and philosophies, they're okay, whatever. But I do not accept bullshit, and I do not accept this blatant hypocrisies. Men ain't like fine wine, bro. No, they don't. No, they don't. 95%, at least 95% of us in our late 40s and 50s and 60s, we're done for. Look outside your window, bro. Right? And, right? It doesn't matter how much you work out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can prevent it for a while, but it is unavoidable. Men do not age as fine wine starting from their late 40s and then forwards. From your late 40s to your 50s and 60s, you are done for. The wall has caught up with you as a man, okay? So stop it with this stupid bullshit. Stop lying to these young dudes who have, no brains. Make them think that when they're in their 50s and 60s, they're gonna be fucking giga chads. They're not gonna be giga chads because the body unavoidably, unfortunately, falls apart. It is what it is. And the people that I know that have always been, in motion, exercising, never addicted to all the stupid bullshit that we are addicted to in the cities, right? So I'm talking about rural people in the countryside, even these men who have always been, fit, now in their 50s and 60s, they are falling apart. They are degenerating. They are degrading because that's what the body does. That is what organic carbon does, okay? Because they are past their prime, and you will pass your prime, and it doesn't matter how many weights you lift, doesn't matter how much you bench press, doesn't matter how much kale you eat, you will degenerate as well. And this is a truth you have to accept. But because this is something that MGTOW unfortunately fails to accept, they fail to accept, the obvious. This is a truth that people have known since the beginning of time, right? Which is that people, they grow up, they attain a pinnacle, a prime, and after they pass that prime, everything slowly goes downhill. Like I said, you can prevent this downfall with exercise and a good diet, but only for a little while. All right, look at people in their 50s and 60s, okay? They haven't aged like fine wine, okay? Okay, stop it with this bullshit. Stop lying to people, okay? It's grotesque what you're doing, right? I think that's about it. I think I've made my statement clearly, right? And if you only have to look at some of these videos with these MGTOW guys in their 50s and 60s, just because they have muscles. I mean, look a little bit more attentively, a little bit more closely. Okay, they're not that in shape. They're not so fit. Okay, just because they have good biceps doesn't mean that they're in shape. Okay, I mean, examine the whole. You have to examine everything in its totality. Don't just focus on the muscles. These guys are in their 50s, in their 60s, and to me, they don't look so good. Okay, even people who've worked out their entire lives will tell you that when you hit your 50s and 60s, let me tell you, them muscles, them gains will start to drool, to sag. It is inevitable because everything that is organic in this reality has an expiration date. Okay? I mean, get a grip. Get a grip.